Trending in true crime this morning, authorities in Texas are searching for a missing mother of two while her husband is sitting in jail, accused of assaulting her. Suzanne Simpson was last seen Sunday, October 6th at her home near San Antonio, Texas. The photo on the left is an image of her on that day wearing a dark dress and tan heels. Police say she hasn't been to work or checked on her children, two of them, since. An arrest warrant was obtained by KSAT News, and it states that a neighbor heard that Suzanne and her husband Brad argued on Sunday. And this neighbor was very detailed with his account of this. He says he actually witnessed a physical altercation. He told police that Suzanne was trying to get away from her husband. About an hour later, he says Brad Simpson left the house in his vehicle and then returned an hour or two after that. Monday, nobody picked up the kids from school, so staff called the husband. Police say that the Simpsons' children told parents that told the school that the parents were fighting and that dad assaulted mom and took her cell phone away. Brad Simpson now in jail on charges of assaulting his family member. It was assault causing bodily injury or an unlawful restraint. And authorities say he is being, quote, uncooperative. So we're asking the question, will the arrest help lead to some answers as to what happened to Suzanne? Let's talk about it. Joining us now, State Attorney in Palm Beach, Florida, Dave Ehrenberg, retired NYPD Detective Mike Alcazar, and still with us, criminal defense attorney, former prosecutor David Bruno. Good morning, gentlemen. Let's start, Mike, from a law enforcement perspective here. When you have an uncooperative person, as we have, they've said it publicly, it changes the game, I would think. And they've gone public saying, this guy's uncooperative. Have you seen this vehicle? Have you seen these clothes, this woman? Is that the right move here to try to, because it seems as though they are really at a loss as to where this woman is?
Yeah, when you have a missing person case like this that's highly suspect, a good rule is to treat it like it's a homicide. You don't have to tell the families or victims or witnesses that you're treating it like a homicide, but it's a good idea to start that way. You have to process physical evidence that you may recover so that you don't lose it. Time is of the essence. Any kind of digital footprint is phone calls. Recently, we've seen in cases of missings and homicides that people do Google searches of how to dispose of bodies. Criminals aren't very smart. So that's a good way to start. Social media postings, victimology. What's the history with the family? And of course, interview witnesses and any kind of information that could help solve the case.
Dave, what goes into the thought process from a prosecutor standpoint and in terms of arresting him? I mean, there's two different, Dave Ehrenberg. Would you, as you look at it, you could either do one of two things, right? You can turn the screws by putting him in a jail cell, or you could sort of turn the screws by just letting him float around as everybody's watching him, and you can also watch him interact with other people. You can bug his house and his phones and all of that. What would be the thought process, which they did here, is put him in a jail cell as they wait for answers?
Ted, he's clearly the top suspect here, and they want to prevent him from fleeing, and that's one reason why they were able to lock him up for a lesser charge. The question is, how long can they keep him behind bars? Some judges will not allow you to keep these guys behind bars unless you charge them with the crime of murder, something more serious than the domestic violence he's being charged with right now. So the prosecutors clearly have their eyes on this guy, and they're trying to develop a case against this guy. But unlike police, prosecutors generally will not file charges against someone unless they can have enough evidence to get a jury to find them guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. The standard for police is probable cause. That's a low standard. But when it comes to file charges as a prosecutor, you want to have enough evidence that you can charge beyond a reasonable doubt, because once you charge, then the clock starts ticking. So he'll be charged if they have enough evidence with murder, but only then, because if you do it too soon, that clock starts ticking and you could lose the whole case.
David Bruno, if you're representing him, what are you telling him? Do you still continue to be uncooperative? What would be your advice?
Sure, it's rule number one of criminal defense is remain silent, and I have a problem with the characterization of being uncooperative, because the Fifth Amendment applies to the innocent and the guilty. If that's the case, because he's invoked his right to remain silent, which the Constitution offers to everybody, that is an unfair characterization in the public opinion. With that being said, look, there's two charges.
You can push back a little there, David. It's unfair in the legal world, but it's fair in the layman's world, is it not? That the neighbor, this guy doesn't seem to care about his missing wife, and he's got 2 kids without a mom. Where is she? And if he's not helping. So I get what you're saying. Legally, it's the right way to go, but public opinion is, dude, where's the wife?
Yeah, well, prosecutors, they're ethically responsible for their statements to the public. And look, there's 2 charges, and the bail set on the 2 charges is $2 million, $1 million on each. So obviously they have some pretty good evidence to think that this is the guy. They're looking for help because there's no cell phone of the victim. They got to find the victim's phone, obviously. Where's the GPS on where it was? Where was the movement on that? And this neighbor that has the evidence about watching a physical altercation and restraint is the starting point for the investigation. So I know that he's being uncooperative in a sense, but when somebody has committed some sort of offense or crime, any defense attorney would tell them to remain silent because it's constitutional right.
Mike, the window here is fairly limited in terms of hiding a body. If, let's say, assume that the unthinkable has happened and that he has killed her, that she didn't just flee and is now hiding out somewhere, which is what people are hoping. But let's say he did kill her. He's got about a 4, when you factor in his coming and going through the neighbor, it's a matter of hours. Are you confident that this will be solved in the near future?
I mean, we always hope that we can solve it. We're going to have to do our due diligence and canvass for video, process the crime scene, maybe get some help from outside agencies if it's a smaller agency, get the FBI involved so that, yeah, you're right, time is the essence, and we have to do this as quick as possible. Professionally, it's not looking good that this woman hasn't been recovered, and I would process this right now as if it was a homicide.
Dave Ehrenberg, let's say she's never found. There's a lot that makes people believe that the husband did it. No body prosecutions are a very difficult endeavor, but it absolutely can be done.
Correct. You don't need a body, although it's very helpful for prosecutors, but there's already a lot of circumstantial evidence here, and investigators will collect more. It's just something that we have to do because you want to do justice for the family. And this is an area where juries get it. Juries understand the motive when it's a internal domestic family dispute. It's not like you have to explain some complex financial scheme. This could be motivated by the fact that you had a domestic violence incident that escalated into a murder. And that's something that everyone can understand. So just because they don't have a body doesn't mean it's case over for the prosecutors.
Yeah, absolutely. We will see, and hopefully there are answers sooner than later. We'll continue to monitor everything coming out of San Antonio, Texas.